just to take some time out. Do what you really want to do. Just to relax and let the world fly by you. Forget your worries, no need to hurry. Just leave a sign to say. Gone fishing, gone fishing. It's a sunny day and you're on your way. Gone fishing, gone fishing, gone fishing. It's a sunny day and you're on your way. Why don't we all go fishing? You drop your line down to the river, waiting to see what you can find. Whatever life has to offer you, you know you'll take it. Stand up and face it, smiling along the way. Gone fishing, gone fishing. It's a sunny old day and you're on your way. Gone fishing, gone fishing, gone fishing. It's a sunny old day and you're on your way. Why don't we all go fishing? There's nothing better on a sunny day when all your work is done. Throw down your line, settle down. Surprise, surprise, look what you found. Gone fishing, gone fishing. It's a sunny old day and you're on your way. Gone fishing, gone fishing, gone fishing. It's a sunny old day and you're on your way. Why don't we all go fishing? It's a sunny old day and you're on your way. Gone fishing.
Of course, when the engines don't have any work to do, they tell stories. Sometimes they would creep out the engines on Sodor. The story went somewhat like this. One night, a steam engine was preparing to take its last train for the night. He had no name, just a number, 6021. All the passengers boarded as the train waited. Then they received the all clear, and the train left. 6021 was making good time during the journey, but something happened later on. His crew went mad, and 6021 shot through multiple stations. His driver and fireman panicked as the train continued down the line. Due to 6021's high speed, his wheels wobbled, causing him to derail and crash into a ravine, leaving no survivors on board. The crash caused locomotive and coach loss, and it was unsafe for other engines to go down that line. The night after the workmen closed down the line for repairs, they spotted what appeared to be a ghost train coming by. They didn't know this at first, but it was the ghost of New York City Hudson number 6021. Every year, on the date of his crash, he runs again, taking the ghosts of his passengers to the ravine below in his ghostly coaches. It was super busy on the island of Sodor. 3 American visitors were brought to help out. Their names were Simon, a 484 Northern engine who originated from the Santa Fe Railway, Ariel, a triplex engine replica for the Virginia Railway, and Ted, known as New Hope 40 from the New Hope and Ivyland Railroad. Ariel later parked herself next to Georgie, who was anxious after hearing the supernatural events on the American railways. "How evil is that ghost train we've been having?" she asked. "If I remember what I went through with Agatha not too long ago, this one sounds worse and more frightening," puffed Georgie. "I encountered him once," said Ariel. "Do you want me to tell you about it?" "Yes, please," said Georgie sweetly. "I was resting after a long day at work in a yard," I puffed. "But while I was resting, I heard a cold, ghostly whistle. I heard steam whooshing at me, as well as evil laughter," I puffed. I then saw 6021's ghost come in. He shone his red light on me, and I was terrified to death," I said. "He said that I was unworthy of being a victim of his because my wheel configuration was not the same as his, and 6021 let me go," I puffed. "And that is how my encounter went," puffed Ariel. "That was awful," puffed Georgie. "I agree," puffed Ariel. "If my wheel configuration was just like his, I would not have been here now." The 2 engines exchanged their worries about the ghost of 6021. Meanwhile, New York's Hudson 6021 was at a scrapyard. "I keep asking myself, why am I here?" he said. Oh, it's because I'm hunting for those who have the same wheel configuration as mine, for they are a mockery to me. I won't be stopped in what I will do, he continued. Once everything is done, I will complete my goals, he said. Later, Rosie and her best friend 87546 met Simon at a station. Hello, said Rosie. Hi, puffed 87546. Although I did encounter 6021's ghost while you worked on the South Sodor Railway that you told me about, Simon chuffed. This caused Rosie to cry, resulting in 87546 giving her sympathy. Tell us, please, said 87546. All right, puffed Simon. Rosie, I'm sorry I mentioned your old railway. I didn't know its closure had been a sensitive area for you, but I'll carry on anyway. I was running light with no freight, I said, but on the way down, I stopped. I heard his whistle minutes later, I puffed. I also heard steam whooshing, as well as evil laughter. There, I saw the ghost of 6021. His presence made my boiler run cold. I puffed. Please, I'm not worthy of being a victim, I said. You might be lying, he replied. He got closer and saw that my wheel configuration was not the same as his, and he made the decision to spare me, I said. I forgive you, and thank you for telling us about 6021. We had no idea on who he was, puffed Rosie. Then they went away with their passengers. That night, Georgie was at her shed when she heard a frame-shaking whistle. She also saw steam whooshing in her way, along with evil laughter. The ghost of 6021 came in front of Georgie. At last, I meet Sodor's Yellow B12, Georgie, he said. What are you doing here? Asked Georgie in fear. You should know already. I'm on the prowl for those engines with the same wheel configuration as me. Because of that, they are mocking me, he puffed. Georgie thought anxiously about her encounters with Agatha. I had originally planned on taking you with me. As of now, I will spare you, but we will meet again, said 6021 as he left. At Knapford Station, Georgie expressed her fears to Flying Scotsman, who arrived from the other railway with a train of choir children. Oh no, he said. That must be bad. Tomorrow I will be leaving to head back to the mainland. I did encounter that ghost train. Will it be rude if I tell you? Flying Scotsman wondered. No, said Georgie, and this was the story that her new friend the Flying Scotsman told her. I was visiting the United States. One night, I was about to leave with an excursion train when the unthinkable happened to me, I said. I heard a ghostly whistle. It scared me to death. After that, I saw steam whooshing at me as well as evil laughter, I puffed. I then saw New York Hudson 6021's ghost come. His presence made me shiver in fear, and he shone his red light. I puffed. He looked at my wheels, and he saw that my wheel configuration was not the same as his, and he vanished into the night. That's how my encounter with that ghost went, puffed the Flying Scotsman. He and Georgie worried about Connor and Caitlin, for they had the same wheel configuration as him. Meanwhile, James was waiting at Knapford. I'm so excited to pull coaches tonight, he puffed. But he felt worried when he heard a frame-chilling whistle. He also saw steam coming at him, as well as evil laughter. James saw the ghost of 6021. His blood-red light shone on James. I see that if you had another set of wheels, as well as four back... I see that if you had another set of front wheels, as well as four back wheels, you would be a victim of mine, but I'm sparing you, since you're only a 260, he puffed. Then 6021 left into thin air. Later, Ted pulled in with some freight cars. That was bad. 6021 and I were enemies when he was living. He and I always bullied one another when we saw each other, he said. Then, both engines left with their trains. The next day, James told his friend Gordon about 6021's ghost. I assure you he will be stopped, puffed Gordon. With a smile on his face, James left. Attention! Barked Gordon. Thomas and Henry came up. New York Central Hudson 6021's ghost is on the prowl, and we should stop him before he causes any more trouble. But how? Should we distract him, then defeat him? Asked Thomas. Nice idea, puffed Gordon. Henry was worried. Will the ghost train come to get me? He said. I'm sure he won't. And you, Henry, have to be as brave as Ruby Bridges, since you will carry out the final attack, Gordon said. Those engines don't know that they will be a victim of mine if they have the same wheel configuration as me, said 6021 as he was waiting in a scrapyard. I will keep hunting with whatever I have, he said as he puffed on, shining his ghostly light as he went down the line. Also, those who disturb me when I'm resting, where I'm resting will be a ghostly victim, will be a worthy victim, he said. The other engines were working very hard. The Sodor engines also worked very hard alongside their American visitors. Later that night, Thomas was waiting at a yard. "I bet that ghost will come," he said. Then he heard a ghostly whistle. He also saw steam whooshing at him, as well as evil laughing. "6021's ghost popped up, shining his blood-red light on Thomas. This caused the little blue engine to run away with 6021 hot on Thomas's tail. The chase went on. "You can run, but you can't hide," said 6021. "Us Sodor engines had nothing to do with why you've been dead," Thomas added. Thomas puffed on in fright across a bridge. When Thomas came to Gordon, they thought they had lost the ghost train. But they were wrong. They heard his ghostly whistle, saw steam hissing, and heard evil laughter. "Oh my," said Thomas. "Let's make a run for it," added Gordon. "Stop now," said 6021's ghost. 6021's ghost was coming up on Thomas and Gordon. "I want to continue my terror, so stop this," he said. "No, we won't stop until your madness is over," said Thomas. "Agreed," puffed Gordon. Thomas and Gordon thought they lost the ghost train, but they were both wrong. They heard his ghostly whistle. There were smiles on Thomas and Gordon's faces when hearing another whistle. "I'm being brave in helping to take out 6021's ghost," puffed Henry. "Stop it now," said 6021. "Nope," puffed Henry. "You're getting defeated, one way or another," he added. Henry's driver got out a stick and bundle of TNT. Then, both explosives were thrown and there was an explosion. "You're going to regret this," said 6021 as he went falling. Henry was satisfied to hear an explosion down below the bridge. "That's the last of New York Central Hudson 6021, puffed Henry as he left. The next day, Ariel came to see Thomas, Gordon, and Henry. "Last night, you guys made me think about a group that specializes in getting rid of ghosts," she puffed. "Who are they?" asked Henry. "The Ghostbusters. You were just like them last night," chuckled Ariel. Thomas, Gordon, and Henry had to laugh. The American engines worked hard during their visit to Sodor. Thomas was sad on the visitors' last day. "Goodbye, guys," he said to them all. "We will miss you, but we'll tell our friends about your railway and 6021's defeat," said Ariel. After the American visitors had gone, Thomas felt lonely on his way back to the sheds. After he was on a siding with Broken Point's, Clinchfield 311's ghost had shown up. "Don't worry, Thomas," she said. "I'm sure they'll be back soon." This made the little blue engine happy.
Oh yes, it's great to